All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Chris Howells. I'm the Senior Training and Content Development Manager for AprilAire, and we're going to talk about humidifiers. And you might be asking yourself, is there really something to learn with humidifiers? It's been a staple in our industry for a very long time. And as you look at these images, you're going to see that we have a lot of old, outdated, inoperable humidifiers out there. And we're excited that when we get to the product side here in just a few minutes, that we're going to introduce a brand new humidifier for you if you haven't seen it yet. But before we get there, I really want to ask you, when you go onto a service call or a sales call and you're talking about humidifiers, what's the perception from a customer? Have you ever heard that they respond to that and saying, I didn't even know I had a humidifier? Or you know what? I didn't think it's doing anything at all. You know what? Don't worry about servicing it. Don't worry about a new one. Just take it off. What happens is that creates a lost opportunity, and really we have to start with a better understanding of humidification. A lot of us understand that a humidifier adds moisture to the air, but what it gets ultimately in creating effective evaporative humidification is a process. We also have to understand there's a sizing guideline. Maybe you've seen this chart. We provide this chart in our all product guide. It's at the very bottom. You can also find it on the AprilAire Partners page. What this sizing guideline is, it directs you based on some industry standards what the best humidifier is to meet the application. So what's a couple things that you need to know working through this chart? You need to know a little bit more about the home. How efficient is the home built? If it's a very old home that hasn't had a lot of improvements, we would categorize that as a loose home. You might have a brand new home with maximum ventilation rates, and we want to classify that as loose because we've got a lot of outdoor air that's infiltrating the home. Most homes, I would say, in our area are going to fall in that average category where you've got older homes that have had doors and windows and insulation improved over the years. But as you probably have known, the home construction industry has continued to get better and better and better, all for the greater good of energy efficiency. But what happens when we have a tighter enclosure to humidification? A lot of times that humidity is actually trapped inside that home, so we don't need as much humidity to be able to provide an acceptable humidity level. The other thing that's changed a lot too is our equipment. Our equipment has gone so far in energy efficiency and from a variable speed capacity. If you're familiar with our Model 600 bypass humidifier, then this is a great humidifier for a lot of single stage, single speed pieces of equipment. If you start getting into that multi-stage, dual fuel, or independent heat pump systems, you have a lower plenum temperature and a lower blower speed, you're going to need more capacity out of that unit. And that's why the fan-powered humidifiers are a staple in our industry. But going back to this sizing chart, just to wrap this up, if we look at an average home that's about 3,000 square feet, you're going to see we need a little over 20 gallons per day to be able to maintain an indoor relative humidity of 35% when it's 20 degrees outside. And just as a caveat on the control side, as the outdoor temperature decreases, the indoor relative humidity should also decrease. That's the glory of the control side of humidifiers. You're familiar with our products. Again, check out our product guide. Reach out to your local Robertson territory manager or the branch. They'll have all the specs that you need on the AprilAire humidifiers. But I really want to spend some time in introducing the Model 720 to you. As we take a quick look at the history of fan-powered humidifiers, there really isn't a lot of evolution. We started with the Model 110, 112 back in 1954. We've only progressed in a few units since then until now. Just over a year ago, we introduced the Model 720. And as this has continued to grow, what this means for you is you have the industry's best fan-powered humidifier. And what do I mean by that? Higher capacity. At 120 degree plenum temperature and 70 degree water, you're going to be able to get 21 gallons per day out of this new Model 720 humidifier. We also have 7 patents on this humidifier, and you might be thinking, well, why is that important to me? It goes back to your service business. Having a patent on the brand new HydroCore setup is going to allow you to reap the benefits of service and maintenance on your contracts for your customers. The serviceability, one of the things that we heard most from contractors is it's not hard, but it does take a little bit of time to get in there, take the humidifier apart, disassemble the scale control insert, and replace the water panel. We really wanted to create a simplicity to the service of this unit. How about less water going down the drain? How many times have you heard that? We have a 60% reduced water consumption of this unit. So you're offering your homeowners a really added value in hearing less water go down the drain. And then we even built in a little bit of an auto tolerance for the level of the installation. That just helps through the progression of knowing that you're not going to have leaks to come. We really want you to maximize profits here. What do I mean by that? Well, the 720 was designed to fit in the same plenum opening as a Model 700. If you walk in the door, there's a 700 there, it's an old generation unit, it's not operating, or you want to offer an upgrade, give them a trade-in value. You already have the water line there, you have the plenum opening, you have your electrical, you have your control. It's really just a quick fix, and you don't even have to pull tin snips out of the bag. So it really maximizes your profit opportunities there. Why would a homeowner want to really upgrade their humidifier though? That's probably a really valid question. I wanted to give you 5 easy to remember details about the Model 720. I mentioned more water being utilized. If we have 60% less water going down the drain, that means we're using more of that water in the process of evaporation. So that's huge. The second, less water going down the drain. So that objection of that homeowner saying, well, I don't like that thing running because I hear all that water running down the drain. Great, thank you, Mrs. and Mrs. Homeowner. The great thing we have is we have now a upgraded model that we can offer you today where we're not having so much water go down the drain. More surface area. This is what we call a HydroCore. This HydroCore is larger than the standard number 35 water panel that you're all probably familiar with. We have more surface area. That means we have more evaporation efficacy off of that pad. We also redesigned the airflow dynamic of this unit. You remember the propeller style, that's center of the unit. We have now changed this to a configurable fan from either the left, as you see it on the factory default, or you can even change it to the right-hand side. What this allows is more even airflow distribution over that water panel. Maximize efficacy. That's what we want. We want to make sure that we're able to achieve an indoor relative humidity. And then that simple service. So I'm going to take a quick walk around this unit for you, and I'll show you just how simple this unit is to service. So as we get into the unit, remember on the 700 you had to rotate the door, pick it off, unplug the unit. Well, the door is simply that. It's just a plastic door that you can take off, and you're now ready to access the whole interbeing of the humidifier. This HydroCore setup, you can see how easy it comes out. Now I say service simplicity, what do I mean by that? You do not have to do anything with this assembly because you're going to get a brand new one that's completely assembled as you see it. That includes the water panel, it includes a feed tube, a brand new redesigned distribution tray, and the scale control insert. So as you insert this back in the unit, as you access it, that's it. Reinstall the door and you're done. So service simplicity. A couple other features for you before we move on. Here is we have an orifice assembly now that to get that 60% less water going down the drain, we have a recirculation feature that's more of a Venturi effect if you're familiar with that, or a straw in its simplest fashion, that's going to start pulling up that water as that saturation occurs on your water panel. You don't have to go in there and change a strainer. It's built into the brand new solenoid valve, so you don't have to worry about shutting water off. You don't have to worry about getting into the solenoid valve to change the strainer. The orifice is actually built into the outlet of the solenoid valve itself, and if you were to come across a plugged orifice, you could see how easy it is to take it out. So with that, I wanted to leave you with just some encouragement as you come across humidifiers today, that there's a lot of them out there. How can you benefit your homeowners, maximize your profit and your serviceability? It's by offering a new humidifier as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to AprilAire. your local business development specialist, or any of your Robertson territory managers or branch locations.